Okay, we've made it to the clutch drum. So we got a snap ring up here. Clutches and seals. These look pretty new. Okay, we got another snap ring here. More clutches and steels. Okay, so what I did was just repurpose my original tool for this new task. I just bent in these legs a little bit more so I'll be able to use this. So we're just going to turn the wing nut. It's going to loosen the snap ring so we can take it out with our snap ring pliers. Loosen this. Got the snap ring. Take this out now. Let's see if we can get this piston out. There we go. Now this one should come apart a little bit more too. Put all this to the side. Okay, so we got this bearing on the top, and then we have a snap ring that goes around here. Clutches, steels. Next we have the snap ring that holds on the input shaft. There we go. Okay, next we do the same thing. We're going to set up our compressor here. After compressing, we're going to remove the snap ring. Okay, we got snap ring, this little cover thing, and the springs, just like in the last one. Okay, next we're just gonna coming. There we go. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna remove all these seals and then dip the part in mineral spirits to clean it. Okay, so I've cleaned every part of these clutch assemblies and put their respective seals next to them so that when I replace them I know where they go. So now I'm going to move on to the planetary carrying. Okay, so there's a little cover here that you can unsnap these little tabs. There we go, that just comes right off. Okay, now we have the sprag assembly. Gonna take it out in one go. So here's the sprag assembly, it has a top and a bottom. So we're gonna clean this out. Important you remember the orientation it goes in because it needs to spin in a certain direction. So I'm just going to put this to the side facing like this, and I'll remember that this is the way it goes in. Okay, next we have a snap ring. Put that to the side. I'm going to remove the planetary carrier. There's a thrust bearing right underneath of it. And we have the underdrive sun gear. Alright, we're going to take this piston apart. All you got to do is apply compressed air to this hole and the piston should pop out. And then there's a seal around it. Okay, I'm going to wash these as well. Okay, we're going to start with the reverse clutch, just putting transmission fluid on the seal here. This is a D-ring, meaning one side of the seal is curved and the other is flat, so the flat side goes in. Next we have seal that goes into the clutch hub here. Just goes inside. Alright, so we're gonna lubricate this up with some transmission fluid inside and outside. So when you put these two guys together, there's a hole right here and holes right here. You're going to align these guys up. That's putting it together properly. Okay, now we have the seal for the overdrive piston. Just goes in, a little groove in the middle. Alright, next we have overdrive clutch piston. Right here, there's a lip seal that goes around it. Goes in this little groove here. Gotta lubricate this up. There we go. Gotta be patient with these things and not just try to force them in. They work to spin and push at the same time. Alright, next we got the springs. There are these little pegs here. That you see those pegs on the top and bottom. So those guys go into these holes right here. So now we're going to install the new lip seal on the spring retainer. Put it on like that. Okay, so we got our special tool again. I'm going to tighten it down. Make sure you put the snap ring on first before the special tool. Okay, snap rings on. Okay, so we have the pressure plate. There's a sort of a beveled side that goes facing up. There we go. Now I have these clutches immersed in transmission fluid. So we have a clutch, a steel, and a clutch, steel, clutch, steel, clutch, steel. Now we got the snap ring. This goes into the groove. So the clearance between the snap ring we just put on and the spring retainer should be less than 3.5 thousandths of an inch. So right now this is 3 thousandths, and I can't stick it under the snap ring, so we're good on that clearance. So the clearance in this should be between 64 thousandths of an inch and 70 thousandths of an inch. So here we have, this is 62 thousandths, so this is on the lower side. It's always good to start below. So then we're going to add this. This is going to be 65. I'm just stacking up feeler gauges here. This is going to be 65 thousandths, and that just fits in there. And now let's go 67 thousandths or 67.5 thousandths. That just fits in there too. 69 thousandths. Let's see what we got. $70 thousandths. Let's see. Alright. So this is cutting it close, but the clearance is between 69 and 70 thousandths, which is within spec. So it just barely made it. Okay, next we have the reverse clutch. So here's the pressure plate, and it's thicker than the rest. It's got a beveled edge again. The beveled edge is going to be facing up, and it has a spot where it's missing a tooth, and it has another spot where it's missing a tooth on the other side. These spots have to line up with the hole on the side of the drum. There we go. Looks like my rebuild kit didn't come with new reverse clutch discs. So that's kind of frustrating. Okay, next we have the input shaft and the underdrive clutch hub. I'm going to replace these. In these grooves go little scarf cut seals. They look like this. And sometimes these are cut at an angle, and you have to be careful how you put them in. But in this case, they're cut flat, so I'm just going to put the seal on like this in the groove. Yeah. And I like to, so these two little openings here, I like to move these 90 degrees from each other, or 180 degrees rather, from each other. Don't know if it does anything, but I like to do it. Alright, so here's the underdrive clutch hub. We got another D-ring we're going to put in the lip here. Okay, next we got another D-ring seal on the piston here. And we have another one on the spring retainer. Alright, so I'm going to lubricate this. Vaseline is an excellent lubricant, and it will dissolve when the transmission gets to operating temperature. There we go, just give it a little spin. And we have the spring that goes in those little notches just like last time, and the spring retainer. Alright, we're going to put a special tool on with the snap ring going on first, and you press it just like we did the last one. Okay, so we have a steel. When we do this, we're once again going to align the hole in the case with the part of the steel that has no tooth on it. Clutch, steel, and these clutches were just immersed in transmission fluid. Steel, clutch, steel, clutch, steel, clutch, and the top pressure plate, and then we have the snap ring. Okay, so the spec for this is the same as the last one, with 70 thousandths being the upper limit. So here I have 71 thousandths, and we're going to see if we can stick it in. And yes, we can. It's tight, but we can. That means what we need to do now is get another snap ring that's thicker. That will account for this difference. Pretty much a 1/10 of an inch here. So now we need to figure out the limit of the clearance for this. So this is 73 thousandths. And that's about the limit here, is 73 thousandths. So it's somewhere between, so let's just say 72 thousandths. We need to bring that down between 65 thousandths and 70 thousandths. So we need pretty much approximately 5 thousandths less clearance. So that means we need a snap ring that's going to be 15 thousandths. So that's what we got to order for this. Well, what I can do in the meantime is I can finish putting this assembly together, because I can still replace the snap ring with this all together. So let's just, there we go. Put the snap ring. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to put this in my vise. Make sure the snap ring is seated fully. So I could take a screwdriver and just give it a little tap on each side. Alright, we got the seal for the low reverse piston. Okay, next we have the second clutch brake piston. Okay, so now we can just put it together like this. Oh, let's lube it up first. Okay, next we have the seal for the one-way clutch inner race. It's beveled again with the flat side. The flat side goes in, beveled side goes out. Okay, next, pump seal. This one is just a plain old O-ring. Alright. Last one is the low reverse brake piston. It's got two seals, an inner and an outer. Outer, inner. The inner and first. Okay, so everything's all clean and checked out. Ready to put this back together. So here's, we put the bearing in, like that. Add some transmission fluid just to lube it up. And then we have this guy right here, goes on top. Okay, so we need to be careful about the direction of the thrust bearings. So we see here that there's sort of a little lip that goes over this bearing, and in the service manual we see that that lip is on the top of the bearing facing down. So that means that the bearing goes in like that. And then we have our planet carrier. Goes right on top. Just like that. We've got our snap ring that goes in there. Let me get my snap ring pliers. There we go. Now it can't come out. Then we have our one-way clutch. We're going to make sure it goes in the same direction it came out. In fact, I'm going to add some lubrication to the gears and to pretty much anything that moves you want to lubricate. Just go around and push all the sprags in so you can push the whole assembly down. Just like that. And then finally we have this little ring here that snaps on the top. Just push it down. And then we're good to go for this one. Okay, we got the new snap ring for the clutch assemblies. Gonna put this in. And we're going to measure the clearance again to make sure it's within spec. Alright, we got the new snap ring for this guy. Let's measure the clearance. Okay, this is 1.702 millimeters. I'm trying with my feeler gauges. Try to push this down evenly on all sides. Try to sneak this guy under. And I can't fit it. So it's tighter than 1.702. Okay, here's 1.575, and that fits under there, so it's bigger than that. Alright, so we know it's within spec because 1.7 did not fit, so this guy's good. Taking the spec for the new snap ring, 1.6 fits in there really snugly, and if I add another 0.1 millimeters to this, it does not fit, so it's between 1.6 and 1.7, which is within spec. Alright, so it's now much later. I got the new steels. They finally sent them to me. So we're going to put the new clutches in here. You once again want to line up the spot where there's no tooth on the spot where there's a hole in the side of the case here. So we have a steel, then we have a clutch, which has been soaking in transmission fluid. Then we have a steel again. Line up the holes, and then another clutch, and then we have the reaction plate, and once again you line up the holes. Put the snap ring in. Okay. Now we're going to measure the clearance on this, just like the other one. Alright, so next I'm removing one of the axle seals in the transmission case. I'm just using a seal puller to pull it out. So how I'm going to do this measurement is I'm going to first push down evenly on the pressure plate here, and then push this down, and we're up to 0.675. Then I let go. It moves down a little bit. I'm gonna now pry up on this, pushing up the caliper even more. Now we're gonna read the reading, and it's at 0.6. So it went from 0.675 to 0.6. That's 0.075 inches. Okay, and that's equal to 1.9 millimeters. The spec is between 1.5 and 1.7, so we also need a new snap ring for this. Alright, I got the new snap ring for these upper reverse clutches, so now we're going to take a clearance measurement. So we're going to push this down onto the little pressure plate on top, and we're going to evenly press down on the whole thing. Push this down more, get about 0.6, let go, and we're going to pry this up. And we're getting about 0.54. That's 0.06 inches. That's a little over 1.5 millimeters, and that is perfectly within spec. So I'm going to do this same measurement over a few areas and then take an average just to be sure, because whenever I do these measurements I always like to eliminate human error. So the more you take, the less error you'll have. Okay, so here's the new one. I'm going to put it on like that. I have a 39 millimeter socket I'm going to use to hammer it in with. There we go. Next I'm going to do the same thing, but to the seal on the oil pump. Again, I'm going to use a 39 millimeter socket. Hammer this in. Just going to make it flush.